wasn't planning to say your name tonight, but it slipped out of me the way loose silk falls off a shoulder. Quiet, unbothered, already knowing where it wants to land. You looked at me like my heartbeat was something you could taste, and maybe you did. There was blue sugar on your breath, warm and slow, melting into my skin without even touching it. I let my voice drop into its husky corners, the ones I keep for songs and people who feel like unfinished thoughts. The room tilted just a little when your fingers traced the air near my waist, not touching, but close enough to change the temperature of everything. And suddenly I was singing in a tone I didn't recognize, a little broken, a little dangerous, a little yours. You smile like the world was bending towards something softer, and for a moment I believed you. My breath caught on a half note I didn't intend to hold, and your eyes held it for me until it settled. You whispered something, I didn't hear the words, but I felt the meaning slide slowly down my spine. Some nights are not meant to be remembered, they're meant to bruise gently like jazz that refuses to resolve its final chord. And tonight I think I was the chord, and you were the reason. I never wanted to end. You came closer than the quiet I was hiding in, close enough to hear my pulse choose a different rhythm just for you. Your fingertips didn't touch me, but the space they warmed felt like an invitation I had already accepted. I turned my face slightly toward yours, just enough to let your breath brush my cheek, soft, warm, dangerously gentle. A small sigh escaped me before I could stop it, and your smile caught it midair like it was something fragile, meant only for you. You whispered my name with that low, careful tone, the one that slips under my skin before I even realize I'm letting it in. I didn't move, I didn't have to. Every just lingering. I felt something in me lean forward, not boldly, not wildly, just a quiet step toward you, toward the warmth, toward the promise in your nearness. If I had spoken, the words would have trembled, so I stayed silent, letting the moment slowly unfold. The dim light, your breath, my heartbeat in that thin electric air, where two people decide something without ever saying it. And in that hush, I realized I didn't wanna be anywhere else but this close to you. There's honey on the edge of my voice whenever you walk into the room. A slow warmth rises under my skin, like someone just dimmed the world to let you shine softer. Your eyes trace my silence, the way a record needle finds an old forgotten groove. And suddenly I'm singing without meaning to. Your touch is a quiet conversation my body understands before my mind does. Every breath you take pulls me closer, like a low brass note curling through the air, finding its place inside my pulse. My lips part before the words do, and you hear the melody I didn't plan to reveal. It's dangerous how easily you tune me, like a slow burning late night chord. 'Cause when you hold me, my voice breaks open into a husky, aching whisper I cannot hide. When you sway with me, every note I breathe turns warm, smoky, and almost sinful. You make my heartbeat sound like jazz. You make my silence feel like desire, and with you I am softer and sweeter than I've ever been. Your fingertips draw a rhythm along my spine, and suddenly I'm a song that only you can finish. My breath trembles on your shoulder, as if afraid to fall anywhere else. So stay a little closer, let my voice melt against your heartbeat. Let the room blur, let the world fade, and let this hush between us become the only music we need. That shows up when you look at me too long. Your shadow slipped over my shoulder like it had rehearsed the move 100 times in a room I never entered. My voice was somewhere between a sigh and a secret I wasn't ready to open. You touched your glass to mine and something in me cracked like warm ice in an old whiskey. Sworn the lights dimmed themselves just to watch how close your breath came to my cheek. There was a tremble in the melody, but maybe that was me breaking a little in a place you couldn't see. Your fingertips hovered, not touching, just close enough to make my pulse spill into places I didn't know existed. I told myself not to fall, but my voice, that husky thing with a mind of its own, whispered your name into the wrong part of the silence. And you heard it, you always do. You said it for me, quiet, warm, like a promise you didn't intend to keep. And still, I believed every syllable, like it was a note meant only for me. I felt you before you touched me, a warmth drifting through the dim room like it already knew where to land. You moved closer, slow, careful, as if my skin was something you had to read before you could reach it. My breath slipped into a lower note the moment your fingers hovered near my waist. Not touching, not yet, but close enough to undo a little of my restraint. You whispered something I didn't fully hear, but the heat of it settled on my collarbone like a soft, dangerous promise. I parted my lips, not for words, but for the space between your heartbeat and your hands finally found me, tracing the outline of every thought I tried to hide, and suddenly the whole room leaned into us. The lights dimmed, my voice deepened, your touch learned my rhythm before I could name it. Ooh. And when your palm rested on the small of my back, pulling me in slow, unintentional, I realized something simple and undeniable. Your hands know my name better than my voice does. So I let you draw it from my body, one breath at a time, letting every sigh, every tremble, every husky note belong to you for just a little longer. I didn't hear you walking, I felt you like a shift in the temperature of my thoughts. I kept stirring my drink long after the ice melted, pretending not to notice the way your silence pressed itself against my shoulder. Some people arrive like footsteps, you arrive like a low note rolling through my ribs. I tilted my head just enough for the light to touch my cheek, and suddenly your eyes had something new to confess. My voice tried to stay steady, it really did, but your nearness has a way of slipping into the cracks between my breasts. So I laughed softly, huskily, the kind of sound no microphone ever captures the right way. a stray strand of my hair. Your fingers didn't shake, but God, you're gifted. That was the moment I realized you say more with the quiet just before you speak than most people do with their whole mouth. So I leaned in just a little, just enough to feel you decide something. And in that warm electric hush, I finally understood the truth of us. It isn't your voice that pulls me in, it's the sound your silence makes on my skin. I walked in wearing a mood I shouldn't be trusted with. Half hunger, half laugh, all velvet trouble. Your eyes caught me before the door finished closing. I felt the click in my spine, a small necessary disaster. The trumpet from the corner bent its note just a little too far. I know that sound, it's what happens when someone starts wanting more than the music allows. You leaned on the bar like gravity was an old friend. You didn't quite believe in that curve of your shoulder. God, it made my voice drop into its lowest pocket, the one reserved for songs I don't sing for anyone sober. I let out a breath that wasn't meant for public release. You heard it anyway, you always do. You didn't smile, you just tilted your head and let your silence wander over my skin. That was it, that was the moment I felt myself slip a little. My laugh came out rougher than planned. Too much smoke, not enough caution. Your fingers tapped the counter in a rhythm I wanted to follow to the end of the night. Someone asked me to sing, I said nothing. Just walk to the mic like I was walking toward a day. I didn't look at you, I didn't have to. I could feel your attention unbuttoning every layer of my restraint. The first note came out low, warm, dangerous, like I was telling the truth for the first time all evening. And when I finally glanced your way, you looked at me like you knew exactly how much of that note was about you. Trouble, felt the trouble, I should have walked away, but you tasted like a song I wasn't done ruining. traced a line on the fog of my window. Didn't mean to write your name, but it shaped itself anyway. Funny how a thought of you can soften all the corners I used to hide behind. I poured tea in an old cup, and in the rising steam I saw a face not entirely yours, but close enough to pull me in. You walk like time, move slightly slower for you, and I find myself matching your rhythm without trying. Your voice falls like warm sugar, dissolving into quiet, and I become a little sweeter without noticing. Before you, I never heard my own laughter so clearly, so honestly, so mine. It's strange how comfort arrives, not in words, but in the way someone's breath pauses near yours. Because with you, I feel lighter than my past. With you, every road stops being a question. Wherever I go, your warmth walks a little ahead of me, guiding me gently. Before you, I wasn't anywhere. Before you, I wasn't even myself. I looked at you for just one fleeting second, and somehow every tangled thought unraveled like thread. The glow in your eyes isn't a promise, it's a beginning, quiet and certain. And if ever you feel the world grow too heavy, you can come to me. I'll hold your tiredness in the cup of my hands, and we'll both become a little lighter, a little softer together. I didn't know love could sound like a quiet breath, resting between two words, but you taught me in the simplest ways. You smile and the whole day falls into place, like the world remembers how to be gentle for a moment. I street light, a breeze, a passing thought feels touched by something new. You speak and my heartbeat leans forward as if it finally found a voice it wants to follow home. There's no rush, no fire, no dramatic pull, just warmth, just ease, just the way you make silence feel like company. Sometimes you don't even look at me. You're lost in your world, your laughter drifting, your fingers tapping a rhythm. And still I feel held. That's the kind of love you give. Unloud, unforced, uncomplicated. The kind of love that lets me be exactly who I am and gently ask nothing more. And I hope you know this. I'm learning like a favorite melody, softly, slowly, with a patience I never had before. Because somehow, without trying, you've become the place where my heart steps a little lighter, breathes a little deeper, and learns every day what it means to feel safe in someone's love. Your shadow leans into my quiet like it knows exactly where to rest. I take a slow breath and it slips into a softer shape the moment you touch my hand. My voice, usually steady, turns warm and uneven like candlelight trying not to flicker. And in that small tremble you find every secret I never said. Your smile moves like velvet on fire, slow, careful, dangerous in the gentlest way. Each step you take pulls the room closer around us, as if walls know we're not done yet. The air bends into a tender hush, waiting for us to fill it with something more than breathing. Don't ask me what I'm feeling, my pulse will tell you first. In a rhythm I can't control. Whisper me into midnight. Hold me in that wavering light where my voice breaks in husky shades only you can hear. Turn my silence into a slow confession. Let the jazz in my blood unravel against your skin. Stay close, don't fade, not tonight. Not while I'm learning how to want without fear. There's a softness in me only your touch remembers how to reach. And when your lips brush my shoulder, the whole world slows its breathing to watch us fall a little deeper. So come closer, closer than the music, closer than the dark, closer than thought. Let us linger in the space between two heartbeats and call it our beginning.
I felt you before you touched me. A warmth drifting through the dim room like it already knew where to land. You move closer, slow, careful, as if my skin was something you had to read before you could reach it. My breath slipped into a lower note the moment your fingers hovered near my waist, not touching, not yet, but close enough to undo a little of my restraint. You whispered something I didn't fully hear, but the heat of it settled on my collarbone like a soft, dangerous promise. I parted my lips, not for words, but for the space between your heartbeat and mine. Your hands finally found me, tracing the outline of every thought I tried to hide. And suddenly the whole room leaned into us. The lights dimmed, my voice deepened, your touch learned my rhythm before I could name it. And when your palm simple and undeniable. Your hands know my name better than my voice does. So I let you draw it from my body, one breath at a time, letting every sigh, every tremble, every husky note belong to you for just a little longer.
I leaned against the piano, not to rest, but to listen to that little ache that shows up when you look at me too long. Your shadow slipped over my shoulder like it had rehearsed the move 100 times in a room I never entered. I said nothing, my voice was somewhere between a sigh and a secret. I wasn't ready to open. You touched your glass to mine, and something in me cracked like warm ice in an old whiskey. I could have sworn the lights dimmed themselves just to watch how close your breath came to my cheek. There was a tremble in the melody, but maybe that was me breaking a little in the place you couldn't see. Your fingertips hovered, not touching, just close enough to make my pulse spill into places I didn't know existed. I told myself not to fall, but my voice, that husky thing with a mind of its own, whispered your name into the wrong part of the silence. And you heard it, you always do. You smiled slow like you were unwrapping a memory we hadn't made yet. I forgot my name in that moment. You said it for me. Quiet, warm, like a promise you didn't intend to keep. And still I believed every syllable, like it was a note meant